My name is Isabelle Boutron. I'm professor of epidemiology at Université de Paris and the PI of the MiRoR project. And my presentation aims to give you a general overview of the project before we really start the conference. In 2009, a very important paper was published by Jan Chalmers and Paul Glasziou and was followed by a series of 5 papers published in the Lancet in 2014. And these papers showed that up to 85% of biomedical research investments may be wasted, and that most of this waste is actually an avoidable waste. This waste occurs when we are identifying the research questions with low priority research questions, when we are planning and conducting the study with inadequate design, high risk of bias results. Waste in research also occurs because we don't have access to the study results, and when the results are reported, the reporting is incomplete and frequently biased. Further, science is facing a replication crisis. For example, there has been a paper published in the field of psychological science showing that it was impossible to reproduce research results. And the idea that science is self-correcting is probably a wrong idea. So in this context, a new scientific discipline, research on research, also called meta-research, arises. The goal of this meta-research is to assess and transform research practices to improve the quality of scientific studies. In 2014, John Ioannidis, who is the father of meta-research, launched the Matrix, the Meta-Research Innovation Center at Stanford University, and the interest in meta-research is increasing. For example, Science published a special issue dedicated to meta-research, and PLOS Biology has now specific sections dedicated to meta-research. So in Europe, an increasing number of teams are working in the field of meta-research, and we felt it was important to structure meta-research in Europe. And this is in the context that we created the MiRoR project. MiRoR is a European doctorate training program dedicated to methods in research on research in the field of clinical research. It is funded by the Horizon 2020 Marie Curie Actions in the grant Innovative Training Network, and it is a 4-year training program. The objective of this program is to train 15 PhD students to become the future generation of scientists in research on research. For this purpose, we set up a very large consortium with 7 university or research institutions. We have the University of Amsterdam, Ghent, Liverpool, Université de Paris, the CNRS, the UPC in Barcelona, and the University of Split. We also have a lot of academic and non-academic partners. We have 12 academic and non-academic partners. We have on board Matrix, the University of Ottawa, University of Oxford, and as non-academic partners, we have editors such as the BMJ and BMC. We also have guidelines developer with NICE, the Cochrane collaborations, a clinical trial platform, European clinical trial platform with ECRA, and all this network work together to develop the program. After a quite complex and demanding recruitment process, we selected 15 PhD students. Our cohort of students comes from a very diverse background, and we have, for example, 13 different nationalities among the students. We organized a joint supervision of the fellows. It means that each student have 2 supervisors from 2 different universities and 1 mentor from an academic partner and non-academic partners to supervise them. They were also able to do several secondments so that they could spend some time in other teams or with non-academic partners where they develop specific projects, learn new methods, and learn new ways of doing research. And you can see on this slide all the secondments that are represented here with an arrow. And overall, we organized 41 different secondments of 3 to 5 months for the student. We developed an innovative and also demanding training program, and just to give you some examples of this program. First, before the student even started their contract, they were invited in a network meeting where they had to participate in a scientific speed dating. They came from one group to another of researchers. They had to present their research project in 5 minutes and could obtain feedback from the consortium to improve their project. We also randomly split them in 4 teams, and each team had to participate in a challenge. So they had over 1 year to work together to try to identify an intervention that could improve the way we are doing research and propose a protocol to evaluate this intervention. They were evaluated, all groups were evaluated by an international jury, and you can see on this slide the photo of the jury and the winners. And finally, they decided to work all together to do a common project that involved all the 15 PhD students to explore the research practice of PhD students. And currently we have this survey is in 4 different languages. We also set up an ambitious scientific program exploring all steps of a clinical research project, from the planning, conduct, reporting, and peer review. We explore various study design, randomized controlled trials, but also observational studies and systematic reviews. And we use diverse methods, scoping review, but also natural language processing, simulation, modeling, ethnographic studies, online qualitative studies, vignette-based studies, and interventional research on research. Just to give you some scientific highlights of what the students did. So some of the students were questioning how primary research is planned, conducted, and analyzed, focusing on biomarkers and also inference methods in observational studies. They explore new concepts, such as the concept of spin, which is a distorted presentation and interpretation of study results. They also explore new form of research, trying to see whether we could involve collective intelligence at a large level for the planning of clinical research, and develop new tools for improving research planning, methods for identifying and displaying research gaps, or prediction tools for trials recruitment. They also worked on improving evidence synthesis and tried to develop text mining for improving the screening, exploring tools to assess risk of bias, or statistical methods to explore heterogeneity. They tried to understand complex processes that happened in research. For example, trying to understand how we can involve patients in research, or what are the interactions and role and task of peer reviewer. And finally, they tried to develop interventions and tools for the peer review process. Overall, at the end of these 4 years, and most of the students have finished their contract, they are working on their thesis manuscript. We should have all students obtaining a joint or a double doctorate, so a double doctorate recognized by 2 different universities. So, in conclusion, regarding the MiRoR project, I would like to say that I believe that MiRoR was far more than an innovative joint doctorate program on research. It was a human adventure because we had to manage all the students we didn't know. And I think all the consortium will agree that we are very proud to see the evolution of our students and to see them becoming a very mature scientist. It was also an incredible relationship for the consortium members. I think we all have a very deep and long-lasting relationship, which I think is important for future projects and for structuring research on research. To finish, I would like to say that all the consortium, we would like to dedicate this conference to Professor Doug Altman, who was a key member of the consortium. He has been with Philippe Raveau at the origin of the MiRoR project. We discussed the idea with Doug Altman, and he has been very active in the consortium, participating in all meetings, listening to all the student projects, providing very useful and very kind feedback to the students, and I'm sure he would have been delighted to be here today. Thank you for your attention.